To a brand new head coach at North Texas, Jason Burton, in his first season for the Mean Green last year. This was a team that went 11-20 overall. They're coming over from Conference USA, where they went 8-12 in conference play. This year, they're picked to finish 12th in the preseason coaches poll. And Coach Burton joins us right now here on the set. Coach, back in the Metroplex, you're a Plano, Texas native. How has this really sort of become a culmination of a dream job for you?
It is a dream job. You're exactly right. It's a dream job, and what a time to be here, too, man. Our men are rolling, coming fresh off an NIT championship, and I think this roster has a lot of great pieces on it, too. And so we were excited about this roster. I was excited to be able to nab a couple coaches from the Metroplex as well, 2 from TCU. And so really excited about this staff, but also just the players that are already in place. They had a couple injuries last year, and we're starting to get some back. And so really excited about our time here at North Texas, and I think it'll be a special year in year one.
What I like about your history is that you come from a D2 program where a lot of people, they don't give that respect to D2 until y'all show up and you beat a D1 team, right? So what is that D2 style with a D1 attitude going to look like?
Well, one of the great things I think is we had an opportunity this past year to be a Division I school already, right? Like we had a chance to play an extremely challenging non-conference schedule. I mean, we played Texas, played Mississippi State, we played SMU, we played Houston, we played 2 American schools last year, and so it's not new to us. It's not new to me now. I also had some time on the men's side at the Division I level, and so we're excited. I think last year definitely was an opportunity to prepare me as a coach, right? Moving up to the Division I level. And we had a lot of success, especially when we started conference play. And I think that had we not had some of the injuries that we had last year, our leading scorer in the Southland Conference got hurt. Season-ending injury, the 5th game of the year in conference play. And so once that happened, our season kind of changed a little bit. We no longer had a point guard, but we're definitely prepared, and I'm excited to be able to bring 2 of those players over with me to North Texas.
How do some of the constraints or limitations that you experience at the Division II level? My brother was a D3 head coach. I mean, completely different level of constraints, but how do those make you better at this level, right, on a national stage in the American?
Right. Well, one thing is you learn how to do more with less.
With less, yeah.
Right? And,
in every figurative and literal way.
You learn how to be efficient. You learn how to, we still challenge ourselves as far as always playing exhibitions against Division I's. Yeah. Last year, like I said, that challenging non-conference schedule. And so when you do those things, when you continue to play against the best, you find ways to, right, like put yourself in position to win those games, get an upset. If you go back to, I think there was the 17-18 year, we played UTSA. So D2 team playing a Conference USA team and won down there and controlled the game from start to finish. And so, those games like that, those experiences, finding ways to do more with less, and then have the resources now.
Yes.
This is the biggest staff I've been able to be a part of, right? And we doubled the size of my staff. We brought over some very experienced coaches, and now we're also working with the most talent that I've had in my career. And so I think all those steps along the way have prepared me and will prepare us for this year.
How important is it to have a staff with a local feel too? I mean, yes, we understand you're recruiting from the entire country, but so many of these schools, it's really about the local community that makes that up. So how key is it having local staff?
I think it's huge because when you look at Texas and the landscape of just Texas recruiting, Texas players, we want to be able to be great as far as recruiting in Texas, and just landed two big-time commits recently, both from the state of Texas. And so having those local ties is going to be huge for us. The Metroplex especially, with the AAU teams they have here. Then you look at all the players that have gone off, and you talk about the transfer portal, right? So players that we've recruited before in the past that have Texas ties that want to come back home.
Yep.
You want to have those coaches that have relationships with people in Texas and the Metroplex.
Sometimes the second time around they're better anyway. They've been
no doubt.
Coach, speaking of relationships, you and Coach Hodge go way back, also having the same mentor with Sam Walker.
We sure do.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about that relationship and just what you've learned from him in all these years coaching.
Man, it's a blessing to be able to work with a men's coach that is on the same page as you and that you have a relationship with. It just makes the day-to-day easy. And it's not just Ross Hodge. I have a relationship with other coaches on the staff too. And so it's a family when it comes to that basketball suite. When you walk in and we know they have a recruit or we have a recruit, it's definitely a family atmosphere, and we're working on the same page, right? But to be able to have that experience from Sam Walker, I got a chance to talk about him earlier, is a mentor to me and a mentor to him. And the fact that there's so many A&M Commerce ties within the basketball world and the athletic department, it's a special thing. And you're working every day with family, and it's just different. Whenever you get a chance to work with family, it hits different.
Feels like there's skin in the game, a mutually vested interest.
There's no
between
doubt.
The multiple programs.
There's no doubt. We both want each other to be successful, and if it wasn't for Ross, I probably wouldn't be here today. We have so many ties. Not just Sam Walker. My brother also worked for Ross Hodge, and so it's funny. A year ago, my brother turned 40, and Ross Hodge was at the party, and we're sitting here talking about neither one of us being head coaches at North Texas at the time, but talking about the future. And so to be able to fast forward a year later and to be head coaches, working 20 feet away from each other, it's nothing but a God thing.
Yep, that's wild.
That is incredible.
Well, one of those players that you brought over from Texas A&M Commerce, Desiree Colonel, what is it with her having spent 4 seasons with her at Texas A&M Commerce? How are you hoping she can really take the next leap in growth here now at North Texas?
Desiree Colonel is high energy. She's a special player, special person. I was excited to be able to see her walk this year. She graduated in August, and what a special just moment for her family, being one of the first people in her family to graduate from college, and just to be able to see her growth over the last 4 years. She stepped right in, and this spring has already been a leader. Been a vocal leader. She's very familiar with how we want to play. We want to play fast. She's familiar with our sets, our offense, and so she's been great for us as far as the locker room, as far as helping to get people in place right away. As a coach, you always want players that are able to be coaches on the floor. And even though she's not a point guard, she's been somebody that's been able to be a vocal leader for us on the floor. She's brought so much as far as that experience, and she's a competitor, man. She's one of the best competitors I've ever had a chance to coach. And so it's always exciting to bring one of those along with you.
Is there pride in coming here and giving her that opportunity at this level as well?
There's no doubt. Her and Deani Robinson, who I spoke about earlier, man, those two right there, to be able to have the D2 careers that they had, to be able to have the 1 year at Division I that they both had and had success, and now have them have the opportunity to have success at this next level, it's a special thing.
Yeah,
Coach Burton, we really appreciate you taking the time joining us today, and looking forward to seeing the Mean Green compete here in the American, and you taking the reins here for the women's program.
Yes,
appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Now let's get to know a little bit about the North Texas Mean Green, but on the men's side, Ross Hodge also in his first season for the men. Last year they went 31-7 overall, 16-4. Of course, they're coming over from Conference USA, where they finished second in the conference and picked to finish sixth here in the American. And the NIT champs got to raise that trophy, playing, of course, one of their very familiar conference opponents, UAB, in that game. And now Coach Ross Hodge takes over a program that already has tremendous success, brings that into the American, and he joins us right now here on this set. Coach Hodge, thanks so much for joining us. Happy to have you here. Welcome to the American. How are you planning to really put your own stamp on this program, having been an assistant with the program previously?
Yeah, I kind of say I don't think a ton will change. Philosophically, Coach McCaslin and I were pretty aligned on the basketball standpoint, but we are different people, and so that's probably like when people say what'll be the biggest difference. We're not the same person, but what has been successful for us, the old adage, if it ain't broke, don't break it. So I'm not going to come in and make any sort of wholesale changes or anything like that.
You just took an old adage and made it a Texas thing. Because us up in the north, we say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. His makes way more sense. But going back, can you just give us perspective on the success that the program has experienced over the last few years and how that has just changed the perception of the program on a national level?
Yeah. We got here what would be, 7 years ago, and we talked about doing things that, maybe the outside world didn't think would be possible at North Texas. And we got a group of players to really believe in that message and kind of just started breaking down the barriers. In 2020, won our first conference championship, and then was able to follow that up with the win over Purdue in the NCAA tournament, and followed that back up with another regular season championship, and then last year's NIT championship. So just a lot of credit to a lot of people aligned with the same thought process, and it's been a crazy run for sure.
Now, is it hard to replicate the things that make you successful once you get there? Because that's what we see a lot. Like, we see teams that kind of find a way to fight. It's a lot of little things that give them success, and once they have it, your perspective changes. You just want to succeed without doing those little things, or do you maintain that focus on that process?
Yeah, no, we talk about it a lot, and you have to be prepared. In each of those championship seasons, we always hit major adversity, and adversity hits in a lot of form or fashion. It can be in tough losses, it can be in injuries, and you kind of have to be mentally prepared for the tough times that will come. And you, like you said, you can't really avoid them. You kind of just have to hit them head on. You have to stay together, stay connected, keep believing in the things that can win basketball games, and stay the course.
Good to come to the conference this year, getting the national recognition that you have over the past few years. And where does the confidence lie for you?
Yeah, it's a great time to be in this league.
Yeah.
If you look at the additions, look at what Coach May in Florida Atlantic did last year, and obviously, we played Coach Kennedy in the final, and Charlotte winning the CBI, and it's a great time to be part of the American, to be joining it, and really excited about the future of it.
Yeah.
How would you kind of describe the personality, not only of your team, but kind of who you are as leading that program? If we were to say the Mean Green is what?
Tough, connected. Believe. Our core philosophies are believe, serve, and compete, and I would hope I embody those as much as anybody. I think that's ultimately, if you had to put in a little box of why we've been able to have the success that we've been able to have over the years, it's the combination of those things.
Do me a favor, define the service part of that, because I think there's layers to that.
Yeah, there's a lot of layers. We talk about it a lot in today's society. I mean, it is almost a counterculture thought. If you think about it, everything is so individualistic by nature.
Yeah.
Social media has a big part of that, and there's a lot of positives to it, but there's the yin and the yang of, and just I think if we all looked back on the happiest times in our life, it's probably when we were giving, and to achieve the things that you want to achieve, you got to be willing to sacrifice. You got to be willing to give to get. So it's a lot of different ways. It's serving your community, it's serving your teammates, it's making sacrifices for your teammates, it's giving of yourself to a bigger part of what you want to do,
which is built-in accountability too.
Exactly.
One of those guys you have coming back, and because we know he's right here listening to you, Aaron Scott. Coach McCaslin had talked about last year. He believed that he could be one of the best players to ever come through North Texas. Do you agree? Wholeheartedly, and he's.
That because he's right here.
He ain't paying attention. No, he's just matured so much through the years, and he's opposite of a lot of guys nowadays in college basketball. He's actually still young. I mean, he's a 20-year-old junior. He has a July birthday, where a lot of people are trying to delay getting to college. He's there, and so to see him, just morph from a person that was trying to figure it out to had a pretty good understanding of what we wanted to do, to now being a driving force on a daily basis on what makes this program successful has been awesome to see.
Coach Hodge, we really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us. Now we're going to turn things over to Mike O'Donnell, who's standing by with Aaron Scott.
Well, you can't talk about North Texas basketball without talking about defense, and there's no question that John Crispin and I would have no shot at playing for North Texas, given our offensive pedigree and lack of defensive pedigree. But I am with one of the best defenders and best players for North Texas, and that's Aaron Scott. So I got to read off a couple stats for you real quick here. Last season, #1 scoring defense in the country, held opponents to 55 points a game. 6th in the country in field goal percentage defense. Nobody shot over 40% for you guys. 18th in the nation in defending the three. You held teams to shooting 30% for three-point line. I'm not asking you to give away any secrets or anything, but how are you guys able to stay so locked in defensively?
I say it starts in practice. Every day we just stay locked in on defense every day. We work on defense every day. We compete every day. We make a lot of mistakes, but we keep playing through the mistakes. And I say that's just our motto, toughness.
Yeah, you have a great selflessness to your team. You have to be, it's help the helper and help the helper who's helping the helper, and then you playing that pack line defense. You have to have great humility to play in that style as well. And then Coach Hodge talked about the service that you guys embody, but you particularly, you're the lone returning starter for North Texas. Got a lot of new faces. You talked a little bit about the transition, from Coach McCaslin to Coach Hodge. When Coach Hodge got the job, do you remember the first thing he said to you?
He said me staying was a big part of him getting the head coach, him accepting the head coach job. Yeah. That just meant a lot to me. And I won my freshman year, I won my sophomore year. I know what it looks like, and I just try to lead by example and help the new guys.
That's awesome. That's a fantastic mindset. And we were also talking, off camera a little bit about you got an increased role offensively this year. You're going to be asked to score a little bit more. Anybody that you, in particular, look at, watch film against, work on?
I say Paul George, just because.
That's a good comparison
just
for your game. Yeah.
Two-way.
Yeah.
He works hard on defense. He likes to steal blocks. He puts as much effort on defense as he does offense. And I think I do the same thing. This year I need to take more advantages of my mismatches. I think Paul George does that.
You're going to have to write a book, man. This is all gospel stuff right now, man, that you're talking about. It's great stuff. But because you're the only lone starter returning, new faces, a lot of new guys inside of a system that, now you look at the last couple of years, your freshman year, your sophomore year, you had guys that were there 2 or 3 years in the program that were used to the defensive system. You can't pick it up right away. It's not an easy thing. How are the new guys doing learning your defensive philosophy?
Oh, well, I'll say I'm not by myself. We have our PG from last year named Ruben Jones. He came back. He was on the all-defensive team last year. Yep. So I say me and him just been getting the guys to buy into our culture, getting them to learn the defense. They're asking us questions every day. We're just leading by example.
So I haven't been yet. I really want to go call a game at the Super Pit. And you're in the American Conference. You're changing conferences. Playing against a lot of new teams in conference play. Give us a sense of what the Super Pit is like. Over 10,000 people in that arena.
Like we was talking about earlier, when it's rocking, it's rocking.
Yeah.
Fans crazy. You barely can hear in there. You barely can hear coach calling plays. That's why we got to communicate on court with each other, because you barely can hear. So you definitely got to come. I would suggest you to come to the SMU game. That's a big-time rival for us.
I hope I get that one. Yeah, can you just call ESPN and ask them if they can do that for me, okay? I appreciate that. Thank you. The last thing I did want to talk to you about was we just mentioned the Super Pit, but North Texas, the university, the athletics program, the campus, it feels a little bit like a sleeping giant. I mean, I went there during the summer to visit, and campus is huge and it's beautiful. I mean, what's been your experience like on campus?
The facilities are nice. Denton is kind of unknown. Not too many people know about it because it's Dallas, kind of close to Dallas. People talk about Dallas a lot, but Denton is a nice unknown city. The facilities are nice. Basketball facilities, football facilities are nice. I think we just got a good university.
Well, I appreciate your time, Aaron. Thanks, and good luck this season for sure. And let's look a little bit more on North Texas.
The American Athletic Conference is proud to welcome the University of North Texas to a new era of power performance. Ready for this. The North Texas Mean Green, established in 1890, called Denton, Texas home, just north of Dallas. A student base of more than 40,000 strong. The Mean Green bring a men's basketball team that's won 3 conference championships, the program's first NCAA tournament win, and the NIT championship. North Texas football flies in with 6 bowl appearances in the last 7 years. A dominant women's soccer team with 28 consecutive winning seasons and 16 conference titles since the start of the millennium. A softball squad that packs 3 conference titles in the last 4 years. A storied golf program passed with a bright future. And so much more.
Looking up the middle. Rose is man open. Caught. Roderick Burns for a score. Nice. Pass. Ahsoka rocking the rim.
Introducing the Americans' North Texas Mean Green.